Jai Shri Hari, Namaste. How are you all? So, welcome to the second session of the Sri Yantra Deep Dive series. So, if in case you are new here, my name is Vikram Shastri. I represent Vedic Sadhana Foundation. You are welcome. Thank you for taking the time out to attending this session. I know many of you have already been waiting for the last 15-20 minutes. Really, it means a lot. That you're all here. And this is the part two of the Sri Yantra Deep Dive series. So if you have not seen the part one, no worries. It is there on YouTube in the same channel. You can catch up on it. However, if you are here and you have not seen the first part, no worries. Mansi ji, who will be taking us through today's session as well, will recap the first part quickly so that we all catch up and then take us through today's session. As I said, I represent Vedic Sadhana Foundation. It's a non-profit founded by Sri Om Swamiji with the vision of imparting authentic Vedic practices through technology so that all of us can perform the Vedic practices in the way it is meant to be in the comfort of our hands, in the comfort of our homes, through the apps that have been designed. So as you all know, there is Black Lotus for Dhyan, there is Sadhana app for mantras and sadhanas. Then there is Tantra Sadhana app, for which we are all assembling here for walking the path of the Dash Mahavidya worship. And then, of course, there is the Sadhana tablet and Astro Sadhana. These are some of the offerings. If some of you are new, do check us out, Vedic Sadhana Foundation. You can go to vedicsadhana.org. Now, that being said, today is a very power-packed session, which all of us have been kind of waiting for, to go deeper into understanding the Sri Yantra and Sri Chakra. So in order to do that, the way the session will be structured is similar. I will invite upon Mansi ji to conduct the session. She will walk us through the whole process of learning. And of course, at the end, we will have a Q&A session with a couple of short announcements at the end. Please stay with us and ask your queries in the comments. And please do ask your questions if you have any on the topic that we're discussing once, and we will pick it up and go through them. And of course, we'll try to answer every question that is there. So without further ado, and I will invite Mansi ji, Jai Sri Hari, and welcome.
Jai Sri Hari, Vikramji. Thank you. And a very, very warm welcome to all you amazing people who have joined here. Means a lot to all of us because um, it's Divine Mother's grace that we have been able to and to discuss something about her beautiful Sri Chakra. So before we begin, I will invoke the Guru through a Guru Stuti. Put your hands together. If you have a guru in a physical form, you can connect with your guru. If you don't, then you can connect with Lord Shiva in the form of Dakshinamurti, seated here to bless us with the divine knowledge. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara, Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma, तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः चैतन्य शाश्वतं शान्तं व्योमातीतं निरञ्जनं नादबिन्दु कलातीतं तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. I will invoke Divine Mother because it's her Vidya we are all trying to learn. Shri Vidya Shivavama Bhaganilayam Ringara Mantrojwala Shri Chakrankita Bindu Madhyavasati Shrimat Sabhanayika Shrimat Shanmukha Vignaraja Janani श्रीमज्जगन्मोहिनीं मीनाक्षीं प्रणतोऽस्मि सन्ततमहं कारुण्यवारानिधिं सिन्दूरारुणविग्रहां त्रिनयना माणिक्यमौलिस्फुरत् तारानायकशेखरां स्मितमुखीं मां पीनवक्षोरुहाम् पाणिभ्यामलिपूर्ण रत्नचषकम् रक्तोत्पलं बिभ्रतीम् सौम्यां रत्नघटस्थरक्तचरणां ध्यायेत् पराङ्मुखिकाम्. First of all, I offer my obeisances to my Guru, who is verily the Divine Mother and Lord Narayana for me. Thereafter, I offer my obeisances to the Divine in you, with whose grace we are all here in this moment. So, once again, a very, very warm welcome to all of you. And we will begin today's session by a quick recap of what we had seen in the previous session. So, all of you who had attended, we can have a quick recap, and those who are new to this particular session can also have a quick understanding of what all we had seen the previous time. So, we had seen the basics of Sri Chakra. We had also understood what are the framework and the structure within the 9 enclosures of the Sri Chakra. And today we are going to look at further details of the origin and the practice, and what are the individual deities that are seated within the chakras, and how they are invoked, who are the systems of energy systems who are governing each of these enclosures, and all of that. And what is the purpose of the different groups of energies that are seated in the 9 enclosures. And we will also take a little introductory look at the Khadgamala Stotra and some books for the deeper wisdom if we want to look at and understand the Sri Chakra in greater detail. So, what is the other literature that we can refer to? So, all of this we are going to see today. Before this, let us take a quick recap into what we had seen the last time. So, we had seen what is a mantra, what is yantra, and what is tantra. So, we know that mantra is the sonic body of the divine that we invoke. The yantra is the geometric formation or the representation of the divine that is being invoked in 3 dimension. And tantra is the process of using the mantra to invoke the yantra. So it is a very systematic, stepwise spiritual practice that uses the mantric system to activate a yantra. Then we had also seen what is a Sri Yantra. The Sri Yantra is called the king of the yantras, or the Yantra Raj, because all the divine energies that are responsible for the creative function in the universe, in the larger universe, and in this microcosm, in the macrocosm and in the microcosm, all the divine energies that are working towards creation, towards sustenance, towards dissolution, towards concealment, and towards grace. All of it is working through this yantra, which is called the Sri Chakra. So it is a cosmic diagram which is like the blueprint of how the divine energies work, not just in the larger cosmic system, but also in within our own cells. And this yantra is a place where all the energies of the divine feminine and the divine male, the creative energies of Lord Shiva as consciousness and Shakti as the creative Shakti working within the universe, is invoked. So there is nothing more powerful than this particular yantra where the entire gamut of energies working within the universe can be invoked. And we had also learned last time about the nine intersecting triangles which form this cosmic geometry. We had seen that there are four upward pointing triangles which represent Lord Shiva. There are five downward pointing triangles which represent the Shakti or the Divine Mother or the creative energy. And when these four Shiva triangles and five Shakti triangles intersect, we get 43 triangles which form the inner geometry of the Sri Chakra. Now, in some systems, when we invoke the Shakti in the Sri Chakra, the number of downward pointing triangles is five. In some systems, when we are invoking Shiva in the same yantra, like we had seen a minute before, that we can invoke the entire gamut of Shaktis. So when we invoke Shiva, we just turn this upside down, and in that case, there are five of Shiva's triangles and four of Shakti's triangles. But here, particularly because we are going to invoke Shakti, we will look at the five downward pointing triangles and the four upward pointing triangles forming this cosmic geometry of the Sri Chakra. So the inner avaranas are formed by the intersection of these nine triangles leading to 43 triangles. And Adi Shankaracharya very beautifully describes this in Saundarya Lahari, where he says, Chaturbhi Shri Kanthe Shiva Yuvati Bhihi Panchabhirapi Prabinnabhi Shambhor Navabhirapi Moola Prakriti Bhihi Chatur Chatvari Vimshad Vasudal Kalashrat Trivalaya Trirekhabhi Sardham Tava Sharanakonaha Parinita. Meaning, O Divine Mother, your abode is formed by the intersection of nine triangles, five of Shakti, four of Shiva, leading to a geometry which is a mix of nine primary triangles of nature, resulting in a total number of 43 triangles, 8 petals, 16 petals, 3 lines, and 3 circles. So let us not be confused why Adi Shankara is saying 44 and we had just seen that 43 triangles are formed. In some systems, even the bindu is considered a triangle, and that makes it 44. So, what do these triangles actually represent? The nine substances in the human body, that is the skin, the blood, the flesh, the fat, and the bone. The trak, rak, mams, medha, and asti. These are given by Shakti. And the four other forms that are given by Shiva are semen, marrow, vital breath, and the individual source, which is Shukla, Majja, Pran, and Jivatman. So these tattvas are individually given by Shiva and Shakti together to create everything in this cosmos. Right from the smallest of the smallest living insect that you can think of to the most beautifully organized system of the working creative forces within the human body. Now, let us also take a quick recap of how these various enclosures are positioned within the Sri Chakra. We had seen this the last time. The outermost, so I hope all of you were able to go through the PDF we had shared and revise a few times so that this geometry is very, very clear and it is etched in our memory. It is important that we learn this in detail and are able to keep it in on our fingertips, because this is how and where we are going to invoke all the 183 different energies within the Sri Chakra. So it's very important that this set of 9 enclosures is understood, and we are all very well versed with it. We'll take a very quick recap. So the outermost base, which is formed by 3 concentric squares, is known as the Bhupur. The next one is, I think you can all guess which one is this. What is it called? It is the Shodash Dal Padma, and it is made up of 16 petals. So what is the next one? Any guesses? The next one is the Ashtadal Padma, made of 8 petals. And then we have the next one where we are entering the inner realms. It is the 14 triangles which form the Chaturdashar. We further go in, and there is the Bahir Dashar, which forms the 10 outer triangles, and then the inner Dashar, the Antar Dashar, which forms the inner 10 triangles. And going in, we have the Vasukon or the Ashtar, which forms the 8 triangles, and then the innermost triangle, which is called the Trikon. It does not intersect with any other triangle. Inside this triangle, this isosceles triangle, is the point which is called the Bindu, where the Divine Mother resides, and she is also called Bainda Vasini. So this is this point which leads to the formation of lines, lines forming triangles, triangles turning into different kinds of intersecting geometries, forming the inner avaranas, and being wrapped up by 2 sets of uh, lotus enclosures, the 8 petaled lotus and the 16 petaled lotus. And then we have the outermost base, which is formed by 3 concentric lines in the formation of a square, which is called the Bhupur. So I hope we till here, all of us are very clear and there are no doubts till this point. So beginning from here, now we will start looking at the origins of this formation and how different energies are seated. Where has all this come from? Any idea? Anyone knows? See, our Sanatan Dharma has everything very, very beautifully given by none other than Lord Shiva. And this too has come from Lord Shiva himself, which was all revealed to Ma Parvati in a conversation between Lord Shiva and Lord Parvati, where Ma starts asking Mahadev that she has been revealed all the 64 tantras. Shiva has revealed to her all the 64 yantras, but till now he has not spoken about her yantra. He has not spoken about the 16 Shaktis that operate in the universe. So she asks Lord Shiva, and this conversation is happening in a guru disciple relationship between Mahadev and Ma Parvati, where, like a Shishya, like a student, she is asking the master to reveal this knowledge. And all of this conversation appears in a text which is called the Vamakeshwara Tantra. And here, when she asks, Lord Shiva very, very lovingly, very compassionately starts describing her yantra, which is called the Sri Yantra, in which entire entourage of her attendant Shaktis, her companion energies, and all the other male and female energies that are working within the universe, all of them are seated here. And then he says, and I'm reading this out from the Vamakeshwara Tantra, he says, एव मतस्य चक्रस्य प्रभावो वर्णितुं मया न शक्त्या महादेवी कल्पकोटि शतैरपि. O Devi, I am unable to speak of the magnificence of this chakra even in 10 million kalpas. This Lord Shiva himself is saying. So here we are sitting trying to learn about this I mean, it is just amazing, and it's just so beautiful that we have all been blessed to even think about Divine Mother, even look at the Sri Chakram, and know that this is the most powerful yantra which can invoke all the Shaktis prevalent in the universe. Now, just going forward, let us look at the deities and the chakras. Now, each avarana that we had seen in the previous session, each of those 9 enclosures is also called a chakra. Why is it called a chakra? Because if you look at the simple meaning of a chakra, what is a chakra? It's a wheel which is moving on its axle, which is pegged to a center. So, here also, the entire gamut of energies are moving and operating in the divine universe, governed by this center where the Divine Mother is seated. So, each avarana is also known as a chakra, which has its own set of energies seated within the chakra, which is presided over by one governing energy. So the individual energies that are seated here, they let us look at it like a amphitheater. So the yantra itself is like an amphitheater where number of these energies are seated in different steps in their designated locations, and they are performing different functions in the universe. So, you know, how we have these very beautiful, magnificent palaces in the country. Most of us would have seen that there is a fort, there is a moat outside, there is a whole set of security system which is established within the architectural framework of the palace, where we have the outer chambers, then we have the inner chambers, then going forward we have the inner courtyards, and then somewhere uh, deep inside, in a very secured location, we have uh, the inner chambers of the king and the queens. So likewise, here also the yantra is like the Divine Mother's palace. And uh, just as a grand palace would have chambers and courtyards and guards at each level, and governing different kind of functions, the Sri Chakra too has a number of attendant Shaktis and powers that are guarding every enclosure or avarana. And each triangle, each petal, each of these circuits is like a sacred room which is resonating with a distinct aspect of Divine Mother's consciousness. And as you move further and further into the amphitheater, and just like how we have number of checks that happen when we, let's say we have to fly from this country to another country, we have to do what? First thing that we have to do is apply for a passport and get our visas. So the minute we go to the passport office, there are different divisions. A number of credentials are checked, a number of security aspects are looked into, a number of verifications are done. And then even when you go for your visa interview, a lot of interrogation is done. So here too, a number of checks are done, a number of uh, energies are seated guarding each enclosure before we move into the next inner enclosure. And when we look at Sri Chakra, it's not just a simple flat diagram. We are gazing into the palace of the Divine Mother herself. So here, every triangle, every lotus petal, every circle is a chamber which is alive with her consciousness. And within each of these sacred spaces dwells a group of yoginis, or the radiant forces, the radiant combined forces of Divine Mother, who are her attendants, who are her companion Shaktis, which um, facilitate our movement inside within the chakra. So, where does this all come from? The innermost chambers are where the Divine Mother is seated, and we have to pass through the outer courtyards. The attendants are there. They are there to welcome us, to awaken within us different kinds of energies, and then slowly different aspects of our own restive tendencies are revealed. We may all have different kinds of vrittis, all of which is not even known. So slowly these things get revealed to us. Slowly the energy to transmute and transform also gets revealed, and different kinds of modes and expressions of divine qualities get revealed to us, like compassion and strength and wisdom, stillness, equanimity. All of these kinds of different energies are what is bestowed by these attendant shaktis. So even before we enter into the inner chambers, these outer prakaras are where we have to first um, enter into and then gain entry into the Sri Chakra. So if you look at the Sri Chakra geometry, this is like a three-dimensional yantra. There are four gates that you see, the four cardinal directions of the yantra: the north, east, south, and west. Each of it is a gate through which we can enter into the system of these energies that are seated inside the yantra. And each of these gates are representing something. So you see, what is happening when we enter into the chakra? We are entering into the chakra to gain union with Divine Mother. And in our system, in our Sanatan system, there are many, many pathways to gain union with the divine. So I'm sure all of us know. So can you guess what are these various systems? Can we name some of them? How do we approach the divine? How have our sages given different margas to approach the divine? Sri Krishna talks about different systems, different ways in which one can approach the divine in the Bhagavad Gita. He talks about the Jnana Marg, he talks about the Bhakti Marg, he talks about the Karma Yoga, and there is, of course, the ancient system of mantric sciences. So, all of these pathways can lead us to gain entry within the Sri Chakra. So, the eastern gate is known as the, each of these gates are, systems of transmission of knowledge. So the Eastern Gate is based on Mantra Yoga, the Southern Gate is based on Bhakti Yoga, the Western Gate is based on Karma Yoga, and the Northern Gate is based on Jnana Yoga, or the self inquiry. So, no matter what kind of inclination we have, some of us may be moved by bhakti, some of us may be moved by self inquiry, some of us may have their paths which are directed by karma yoga and pure action. So, no matter what kind of inclination we have, we can enter through that very quality of seeking into the realm of the Sri Chakra. And these four cardinal directions of the Sri Chakra, each of them is known as an Amanaya. Amanaya meaning a system of knowledge transformation. And it is just so beautiful to see that even going forward, when the Sri Vidya system of knowledge was established and propagated by Adi Shankara, he set up the four mathas in four parts of the country, in the four cardinal directions of the country, in the eastern direction, in the northern direction, the southern and the western direction. So the southern Amanaya is known as the Dakshin Amanaya, which is the seat of knowledge was established by Adi Shankara in the Sringeri Mutt. Likewise, he established all the four mathas from where four different traditions and systems emanated, and all this knowledge system leads to the same goal of uniting with the Divine Mother within the Sri Chakra. Now, as we gain entry into this Sri Chakra, let us know that no matter from which gate you enter, you can, as a sadhak, someone who wants to invoke the divine energies of Ma Lalita Tripur Sundari and wants to unite with her energies, we can enter through any of the four gates And this simple invocation does not require initiation. In some traditions, yes, there may be a need to get initiated, but for the simple practice of invoking the divine energies within the Sri Chakra, no initiation is required. A sadhak can enter from any of these four gates into the Sri Chakra. Now, going forward, as we had seen, that each of these enclosures is known as a chakra in itself. And there are different set of group of energies which are seated in each chakra, which has a particular spiritual purpose to, and it is all governed by one presiding energy. So a number of these energies individually that are seated in the different nine chakras, they are known as yoginis. And all the yoginis in the individual chakra is governed by one presiding energy, which is known as the Chakreshwari. So there are a set of yoginis, all of whom are governed by the presiding Chakreshwari. And each chakra has a specific purpose to fulfill, a specific action to perform in uh, the universe and within our own selves. So, with this understanding, let us now see individually what and how these yoginis are seated. Now, before that, why are they called yoginis? Any guesses? See, yogini comes from the word yoga. Yoga means union. So each of these are attendant energies, the companion energies of Divine Mother, who help us unite with Mother Divine. And they are seated in the nine enclosures leading right up to the center where Divine Mother is seated. So each of these nine enclosures is known as a chakra with the presiding Chakreshwari. Under the Chakreshwari are a set of yoginis. And there's one thing that I think I we should all understand in the very beginning itself. Now we are going to talk of 183 energies seated within the Sri Chakra. Let us not get overwhelmed by the number, the name, and the locations that are going to be discussed, because all of it is facilitated for us within the Tantra Sadhana app. So we don't need to make this an academic exercise of trying to by heart the location and the names. All of that will come to us very easily as and when we start practicing. So at this moment in time, my request is that don't get overwhelmed. Just be with me, hang on for some time and see how the beauty of this whole system gets revealed to us. So moving forward, let us look at the purpose of these deities and the nine avaranas in which they are seated. So, even before I begin, I would like to share once Bhaskaraya Makin, he is one of the greatest Sri Vidya Upasakas. He had completed consecrating one of the Sri Chakras in South India. And his disciple asked, Guruji, is Sri Chakra really alive or is it just a symbol? So Bhaskaraya smiled and he said, see, if you throw water or pour water on a mirror, it looks like water, but the mirror never gets wet. Likewise, when you gaze upon the Sri Chakra, you are looking into the mirror of the consciousness itself. And what you see depends on the purity of your gaze. And then it is said that Bhaskaraya started chanting Sri Lalita Sahasranam. And the Bindu glowed with golden light. So it was very much alive. So it is our own purity of thought, purity of intention, which helps invoke these energies and awaken them as we chant the mantras for invocation, as we call upon them. So this is not to be seen as a simple pure geometry. And we all have, in the beginning, may have experienced that. See, it's very easy to connect with a sagun form of divine, and it's slightly more abstract when it comes to the geometric representation. A yantra is the very form of divine mother. Like Shiva has said, uh, it is impossible to even describe the glories of this yantra, because it is Sri Mata herself. So this bhav has to slowly be inculcated with practice, that when we are worshipping the different energies seated in the Sri Yantra, we are worshipping Divine Mother herself. And it is not just simple uh, symbol or a geometry. Yes, it is a geometry, but it is a divine cosmic geometry, which is the very form of Mother Divine herself. Why do we say this? Because what is the content? Who is seated here? As we had just seen, a number of yoginis are seated in each chakras. Who are these yoginis? These yoginis are not different from Divine Mother. It's Divine Mother's emanation herself, like our own mothers, like our how they do different kind of functions. They are acting as a mother, they are acting as a wife, they are acting as a sister, they are looking after the household, they are cooking the food, they are also working in the offices, numerous functions. So performed by the same mother. So here also it is the same mother, and she has numerous functions to perform, so she takes different forms to fulfill these different aspects in the universe. And they are her companion energies. That is why they are known as yoginis. So imagine we have how we have this huge power grid, where electricity is supplied from a single source, and it gets distributed across the grid, and then we have transformers and we have nodes to relay this electricity in different areas, and within the different households and other areas where eh, the energy is required. So similarly, the Sri Chakra also is to be seen as a huge cosmic power grid. And the yoginis are like these transformers or nodes, or the channel of the supreme energy, which relay this Shakti in different frequencies for creation, for sustenance, for dissolution, for concealment, for grace. So Mother in Lalita Sahasranama is called Panchakritya Parayana. She has five main actions to perform in the universe. She creates the universe. She is the one who sustains the universe with a whole set of energies. And then she is the one who dissolves this very creation into herself. And then for a period of time, like how the seed is lying in hibernation, the entire creation is lying in her womb. So that is called concealment. And then she recreates, and that is called grace. So Srishti, Sthiti, Vilay, Anugraha, Tirodhan, and Anugraha. These are her five main actions that she performs with the entire entourage of these companion Shaktis. So the first Avarana that you see here, the first chakra is called the Trailokya Mohan Chakra. Why Trailokya? Because this is the plane that governs the gross material earthly plane in which all of us are there. And three lokas are the Bhur, Bhuva, Swaha. These are the three realms in which this plane is acting. So within the Trailokya Mohan Chakra, we have a set of yoginis, and we have a set of um, the attendant energies who are known as yoginis. They are governing this chakra, and these set this group of yoginis is presided over by a Chakreshwari. So this chakra is called the enchanter of the three worlds. Why? Because once we gain entry into it, and as we practice and a sadhak gains siddhi in this particular chakra, he is able to enchant the three worlds. His very disposition becomes such that whatever he does, he is able to, mesmerize and enchant everything in the three worlds. The Chakreshwari here is called Tripura. Why Tripura? Because here everything is governed in the three modes of material nature, the Rajas, the Tamas, the Sattva. And here again, Mother Divine herself is acting as the Tripura Chakreshwari. And now within this are seated 28 yoginis. These are known as Prakata yoginis. Prakata means they are physically tangible, they are visible, they are manifest here in their full form. And it is this gross world in which our day to day functioning happens, our day to day interactions happen. So everything here that is manifested takes care of our very own physical well-being, physical world in which we live and operate. Now, who are these 28 yoginis? They are present in three sets again. So you see here we have three sets of in um, concentric lines which form the base. So these 28 yoginis in the Bhupur are also present in three sets, each set in one of the lines coming from the outer line to the inner and to the innermost. So it is to be seen in three dimensions. We have a layer which is formed by the outer set of four lines. Then we have an inner layer, and then we have an innermost layer. So the outermost set of lines here in the Bhupur has 10 Siddhi Devis seated. So, this system of invoking energies from the outermost Bhupur to the innermost Bindu is known as the Sangharakram. When we go from the outer to the inner, the dissolution occurs. So, when we are meeting these energies for the first set in the outermost Bhupur in the gross world, the first set that we meet is the Siddhi Devis, the Anima, Siddhi, Lagima, Mahima, Ishitva, Garima, and so on. Now, we must all understand that in the in the system of uh, Sri Chakra invocation, these Siddhi Devis are not some kind of magical powers. Yes, they are energies that grant superpowers, but they work on our own inner restive tendencies so that when they bless us, we are empowered. For example, Anima Siddhi. Anima comes from the word Anu. Anu means a tiniest fragment, like a cell. To become as tiny, as small as an Anu means what? It doesn't mean that this physical body will become tiny like a cell. What it means is this huge ego that the mind has, that I am so big. This becomes small enough when we are humble, when the humility gets created within ourselves. Then we are no longer the big me. The big me becomes a humble me. Similarly, the other Siddhi Devis also act upon our propensities, our restive tendencies, and then divine qualities get awakened within us. So when we say that we are entering and coming closer and closer to Divine Mother within the Sri Chakra, how does that really happen? Again, there was a, a rishi who was explaining this uh, whole design of the Sri Chakra to his disciples. And one of the disciples, he was very, very uh, confused and worked up because of so many lines and triangles and petals. So he asked his master, um, is there no easy way of understanding this sacred geometry? You say that all of this is divine mother, but if it is so, why do we need to go on with so much of complication? I- I- can we look at it in some simple way? So the rishi said, yes, of course, close your eyes. That is the shortcut edition of the Sri Chakra. When we close our eyes, we look inwards. This very human body is a Sri Chakra. So when we say that these yoginis are getting awakened in the Sri Chakra, they are the energies that are getting awakened within our own self. So you must have noticed by now that so many yoginis guarding each avarana. It is like a whole divine government office. So there are counter checks for your devotion, there are counter checks for your patience, for your ego clearance. So all of this, the stamping occurs, and then we are allowed further entry. So the office, all offices function in the same way, even at the cosmic scale. So now let us look at the next set of Devis. They are the Ashtamatrikas, which are in the next set of inner lines. The Ashtamatrika Devis, again, the Brahmi, Maheshwari, Kaumari, Vaishnavi, Varahi, and so on, they act upon, again, our restive tendencies, which are Kama, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya, Papa, Punya. All these 8 Matrika Devis are acting upon these very aspects in our own lives. And then the next set of Devis are the Mudra Shaktis or the Mudra Devis, which again act on our vital energies, on our Prana Shaktis. Now, again, I will say, don't get overwhelmed looking at, oh my God, 28 Shaktis and some kind of diagram that is appearing on the screen. What do I do now? How do I remember? Please don't even try to remember where they are seated, what are their names. It will all come to you. See, Divine Mother has her own beautiful way of revealing everything slowly, step by step, to each one of us. As we do our practice, it will all come to us. For now, for our understanding, just be with me without getting overwhelmed, and we will soon see how beautifully it all falls in place. So you see, the outermost 10 Siddhi Devis, each one of them, we had seen the 4 gates, the 4 Amanayas through which we enter the Sri Chakra. On the right hand side of each gate is the first set of Siddhi Devis, number 1, 2, 3, 4, that you see in the red outermost line. And then in the 4 cardinal direction, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then across in the diagonal direction, 9 and 10. The same system is followed through in the inner lines as well. So we have the Ashtamatrika Shaktis. See, the first 4 you will enter from the left hand side of the 4 Amanayas, 4 gates, M1, M2, M3, M4. So Matrika Shakti 1, 2, 3, 4, you enter from the left hand side of the 4 cardinal directions. And then again M5, M6, 7, 8 is the 4 cardinal directions that are left over. Coming to the innermost line of the 10 Mudra Devis, again, you enter from the right hand side of the 4 Amanaya gates, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the 4 cardinal directions, 5, 6, 7, 8, and the diagonal, 9 and 10. Now, if you have not understood it, don't worry. It will all come to us if we just patiently keep doing the sadhana. Why? Because all of these locations, all of these names, they are facilitated within the app for us. We don't have to worry about remembering the locations or remembering the names. Again and again, I'll be repeating this because, yes, in the beginning, it seems just like way too much to remember. So we don't have to remember anything. What is important right now is that we understand the essence of how the system is working. So yes, there are these group of 28 yoginis. They are known as Prakata yoginis because everything is prakat in this material world. Everything is visible in this and evident in this material world. They are presided over by, all 28 of them are presided over by a governing Chakreshwari known as Tripura. Now, moving to the next Avarana. Before that, you will see that we have um, three circles, concentric circles. Now, these simply represent the triad that we have in all aspects of life, whether it is the three gunas or the three avasthas of Jagrat, Sushupt, and Swapna, whether it is the Rajas, Tamas, or Sattva, whether it is the three kinds of speech, Vaikhari, Madhyama, uh, and so on. And mainly what they represent is dharma, arth, and purusharth. So it is a circle, like a chakra. So you keep doing your dharma, your swadharma, you keep earning, which is called arth, and then we keep doing whatever we need to do to dispense our daily duties in terms of the purusharth. We have to earn our living, we have to do our sincere efforts to fulfill our basic needs. So all of this is a chakra in this sansara. So we don't have to get entrapped in this sansara. For this very reason, in most traditions, no worship is done at these three triangles. These three circles. So we don't even invoke any Shakti here. We directly go to the Shodash Dal Padma, the 16 petal lotus. This chakra is known as Sarva Asha Paripurak Chakra. It has 16 yoginis seated. This chakra is the fulfiller of all the desires. So, see, when we are in the material plane and dharma, arth, kama, moksha, all of this, some aspects of it must be fulfilled. Some of the desires must be fulfilled before we are nourished enough to move further, look beyond all of this. Because see, all of these aspects that we face and encounter on a day-to-day basis to run our lives in this world, we have certain desires, certain goals that we want to meet, and it is absolutely fine. Some amount of it has to be met so that there is some contentment, some satiation, and we are then trying to look for something higher, something greater. Like we had seen in the previous session, all of our desires are representative of the soul's inner yearning for permanent happiness. Some kind of short lived happiness we do get when our desires are met. Most of our desires are pertaining to this gross world. So, this chakra, when you have Siddhi in this particular chakra, most of our desires get fulfilled in the sense that whatever we wish for, there may be some hindrance that is coming because of our own uh, restive tendencies, our own doings. All of these hurdles get removed as and when these Shaktis awaken within us. Some inner transformation, some subtle working happens at an energy level. Alignment starts happening with the cosmic formations of these creative energies. And that's how things start working. So, this particular chakra is known as Sarva Asha Paripurak Chakra with 16 yoginis seated in it. Who are these yoginis? We will see. They are called now Gupta yoginis. So in the previous one, they were Prakat yoginis. Now they have become secretive. They are called Gupt. Gupt means secret. These are secret yoginis now presided over by the Chakreshwari called Tripureshi. So Tripureshi is seated as the governing energy, and these are Gupta yoginis. So as you see, we keep going inwards, the number of yoginis will decrease. So from the expanse and extension of our gross world, as we go inner and inwards, the gross starts becoming subtle, subtler, subtlest, and the number of yoginis also start shrinking and decreasing. So that entire, as you call the phalara of the world, the phalara of the samsara starts shrinking, and our awareness starts getting refined as we start moving towards the inner realms. So at this particular avarana, our the energies that are seated here, they facilitate fulfillment of desires. Going forward is the next avarana, which is called the Ashtadala Padma. We will see now, like how we had seen, the energies here are seated in the anti-clockwise direction. If you recall the previous session, we had mentioned that from 1 to 16 in an anti-clockwise direction, these Gupta yoginis are seated. Now you see the name of these Gupta yoginis: Kamakarshini, Buddhyakarshini, Ahankarakarshini, Shabdakarshini, Sparshakarshini. So Akarshani is a common ending for all these Shaktis. What does Akarshani means? Akarshani means something that can attract. So these energies are able to attract different kinds of aspects into our lives. And when they do that, when these Shaktis awaken, the subtler, the goop aspects of our life, they start getting nourished, they start getting awakened. So this Vidya is also known as Karshani Vidya. It comes from the word Akarshan. Akarshan, like Krishna. Krishna, the word itself means someone who's able to attract. So there is the saint from Ramanreti in Vrindavan, Guru Sharnanandji, he has achieved Siddhi in Karshani Vidya. So this particular avarana, when we gain siddhi in this, it is done through the worship and invocation of Karshani Vidya. Moving forward, we go to the next Ashtadal Padma, which is known as Sarva Sankshobhan Chakra. Sankshobhan means agitation. It means some kind of forceful jolt. So you see, for us to move from the gross realms, and all our desires have started being met, now we encounter further subtle aspects of our chittis, which have to be really worked upon. We have to agitate within our own selves, like how the samudra manthan happens outside. A little bit of inner self reflection, inner inquiry has to happen for us to awaken the divine qualities that this particular chakra calls for. So again, here there are 8 Shaktis, the 8 yoginis that are seated. They are called the Guptatar yogini. So from Prakat to Gupt, now Guptatar. They are further secretive, and they are presided over by the Chakreshwari called Tripura Sundari. And here there are 8 yoginis that are seated individually. The order of this is not entirely clockwise. The first 4 are seated in the 4 cardinal directions: 1, 2, 3, 4, beginning from the north, the topmost, and then 5, 6, 7, and 8 in the northeast, southeast, southwest, northwest direction. And these yoginis, now look at the names. These Guptatari yoginis are Ananga Kusuma, Ananga Mekhala, Ananga Madana, Ananga Madanatura, and so on. Anang means without a body. So now, from the gross to the subtle, to the subtler, to the subtler, the subtle, more subtle, as we move forward, here from having a gross body, at this point, there is no body now. Anang. So, what are these Ananga Shaktis? Let us look at one of them. Ananga Mekhala. Mekhala means a girdle, a kamarband that we tie on our waist. So, Ananga Mekhala. This refers to the entanglement that happens in this world by constantly falling into some kind of entrapment, some kind of attraction to some kind of material thing, to some kind of emotion, to some, pursuing some kind of thing in this material world. So this is also called Varun Pash. Now, when these yoginis, these Guptatar yoginis are awakened, they help us go beyond these chittavrittis. And slowly, as see, energy knows how to work. So again, don't worry, let us not let this question crop in our mind. Oh, yo, how are these going to work? They know their job. Energy knows how to operate. When we awaken them, when we pray to them, when we offer our namaskarams, when we learn to surrender, when we offer our devotion and our bhav, and we connect with them, these are not energies which are outside. These are energies which we are awakening again and again. I'm repeating the same thing within our own selves. Yes, we are using a yantra, we are using a mantra, but it is acting on ourselves and in our environment. To do what? To bring us closer to Divine Mother. So slowly, a number of checks that happen, like in any office here also, number of checks are happening, number of operations are taking place, to reconfigure the energy systems within our own self. So how beautiful this is. For a minute, let us say that you are meditating on the Sri Chakram and nothing is happening. 10 minutes have passed. Ayo, nothing is happening. And, we start getting restless. Don't panic. Just as buffering happens when sometimes we are trying to load on a heavy software, here also, this is the divine version of buffering. Just stay logged in, and grace has a slow, steady, but stable connection, and it will all fall in place. So, again and again, I will keep saying there is no need for us to worry. There is no need for us to try and remember these names, these locations. All of it is taken care of. See, we are so blessed in today's world and age that we have the aid of technology. This little aspect of the names, the locations of these yoginis, all of it is configured within the app, and it becomes our enabler to perform our puja. We can, and as and when, how we have learned everything in life. When we started going to school, we started learning the numbers, the alphabets. So slowly, without mugging up things, it all comes to us when we keep repeating day in and day out, day in and day out. You practice the same thing, it becomes part of our very system. This very fabric of our neurological system, it starts realigning. Our neural pathways starts changing. The way we think starts changing. The way we start looking at things also changes. Our perception changes, and so many beautiful things start happening. So now for change to happen, something that is old and ingrained because of our samskaras, because of the previous baggage that we are carrying from many lifetimes, all of that needs to break and dissolve. That is why Sanghar Krama, Sanghar has to happen not to kill somebody, but to dissolve these restive tendencies that we have formed within our own self, in our own ignorance. We do so many things we sometimes not even realize. All this realization, all this revealing happens by the grace of Divine Mother as we invoke these energies. Now, going forward, the next Avarana. What is this? Can we remember? This is the 14 set of triangles called the Chatur Dashar. This chakra is known as Sarva Saubhagyadayaka Chakra. Saubhagya means auspiciousness. So this chakra is what bestows all the auspiciousness in our lives. Now see, slowly things start becoming more and more subtle. From the sthula, we are moving towards sukshma. So as the energies start working on our own sukshma sharira, because we are getting bestowed by so many divine qualities, so many of our old propensities are dissolving. What happens is there is awakening of a lot of auspiciousness in our lives. What is auspiciousness? When there is contentment, when there is constant sense of well being, when there is enough to take care of all our needs and comforts. So, all these aspects are bestowed by the Sarva Saubhagya Chakra, the fulfiller of, the bestower of all the prosperity, all the opulence, all the auspiciousness in life that we all need to go forward. This set of yoginis, there are 14 yoginis here seated in the 14 triangles. They are presided over by the Chakreshwari named Tripura Vasini. Vasini means she resides here, again in triads. So all the three aspects of our lives is taken care by Tripura Vasini, who presides over the 14 yoginis. These yoginis are known as now the Sampradaya yoginis. Sampradaya means the family, the lineage, and it comes from the word sam. Sam means at par. So, like we are discussing now, I give out a piece of information, you receive that piece of information. So with as respect to this particular piece of information, after I have given the information, you and I are at par in terms of knowing this particular piece of information, right? This is what is called being at par, at the same level. So here, when at this point the guru, who has already walked the path, mastered the knowledge, and awakened all these energies. When such a guru brings us into his lineage, when he blesses us, when he gives us this knowledge system, when he transmutes different energies into our own systems through his awakened energies, these sampradaya yoginis are what get awakened, because now you are part of the grace of the entire guru mandala, who have in past awakened and energized these chakras, and uh, they have mastered this particular vidya, and they have gained that union with divine mother. So they are repositories of that energy system. So being attached to, it's like plugging on the electricity, being attached to this system, being part of the sampradaya. Now these 14 sampradaya yoginis uh, get revealed at this point. And as a sadhak awakens all of them and gains a siddhi, these sampradaya yoginis, they bless the sadhak. What are the names of these? Let us look at it. Sarva Sanshobhini, Sarva Vidravini. Sanshobhan means again, some kind of agitation, some kind of movement. So these are the yoginis which bestow those qualities, those divine qualities that are needed to become part of that tradition. All the divine qualities that the masters have um, inculcated in themselves are now slowly blessed upon everybody who invokes these sampradaya shaktis. So sanshobhan happens, agitation happens, so that this inner uh, transformation starts taking place. Sarva Vidravini, Sarva Akarshini, Sarva Ahladini. So the energies that are bestowing unconditional love, the energies that are bestowing unconditional surrender, all of this jnana, these devis start awakening and revealing within our own selves. Now, again, let us not start thinking, oh, is Amma going to come and speak to me? Maybe she may, but in so many different forms. Jnana will start relaying to you. Because see, sadhana is not just about the ritual aspect of offering or invoking or performing namaskarams. The rituals are done so that the divinity within us is revealed to us. So that is the job of all these yoginis seated in different avaranas. So again, you see, these yoginis, the way they run the Sri Chakra, it is like the best run organization. So you have the security systems where you have the outer Kshetrapalas, you have the guardian deities, then you have the HR being managed by the yoginis, checking our egos and our restive tendencies at different points. And then you have finances and opulence managed by the different Shaktis and different Lakshmis that are seated here. And then you have the topmost CEO, Lalita Devi herself. And guess what? Here, the only path to promotion is turning inwards. That's all that we have to do. Turn inwards, surrender, and offer your deepest devotion to Divine Mother, and the rest she will take care. So, now going forward, let us look at the next Avarana, which is the Bahir Dashar, the fifth Avarana with the 10 outer triangles. It is called the Sarvartha Sadhak Chakra. Sarvartha. Artha means anything that allows you to accomplish resources for your work. Sarvartha Sadhak. So all the resources that you know need to function well in this world, to function well in your inner world and your outer world, all of this is bestowed by the yoginis that are seated here in the Sarvartha Sadhak Chakra, the Bahir Dashar. So here we have 10 yoginis who are known as Kulottirna yoginis. They are presided over by Chakreshwari called Tripura Shri. Kulottirna. Kulottirna is one of the names of Divine Mother in Lalita Sahasranam. Kulottirna means she is beyond the senses. So we had seen Prakata Yogini, Gupta Tar Yogini. Now here in this particular Avarana, she is beyond the senses. Who are these 10 Kulotirna yoginis? Sarva Siddhi Prada, Sarva Sampat Prada, Sarva Priyankari, Sarva Mangalakarani, Sarva Kama Prada, Sarva Dukkha Vimochini. So she takes away all the sufferings. See, pain is inevitable. Swamiji says, pain is inevitable, but suffering is not. Why do we suffer? Because we unpack our baggage and we keep going in rigmarole, going in the same circles again and again without knowing where to break the cycle. Where to break the cycle? This yogini helps. She gives us the wisdom to see beyond our suffering. She gives us the wisdom to see things from a different perspective where every suffering becomes a learning. So there is dawn of wisdom that happens. And that is how the consciousness is evolving slowly, you see, coming from the grosser outer realm as we move closer and closer. Our perception is getting chiseled, our awareness is getting refined, so that that which is sukshmatar se bhi sukshma, that which is so subtle, even to perceive that, our perception also has to get chiseled enough, refined enough. So this is the process of evolution that is taking place at our consciousness level. So going further now is the Antardashar, or the inner 10 triangles, which is known as the Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. This chakra offers protection at all levels. See, when you have come so close to the inner realms of Divine Mother, your proximity to her has become so close. Now, because you are empowered with so much of Shakti, she gives you protection so that you're not pounced over by so many people looking for so many different things for fulfillment of their own aspirations. She takes care of your protection at every level. So this chakra is called Sarva Rakshakara Chakra. So mother is mother. She makes sure that you get the best of the world. She makes sure your mind, emotions, finances, health, everything is nourished. And then she makes sure my child is also protected. Amma is always like that. So you have to see, when we are offering and making our pujas to different avaranas, we have to keep this bhava that this is not some simple geometry of triangles and squares and circles and petals. This is Divine Mother herself, and she is looking after me at every step. So here the Chakreshwari is Tripura Malini. And again, there are 10 yoginis seated here who are called Nigarbha yoginis. Nigarbha means not born out of the human womb. So these yoginis are not operating at all at a human level. They are operating at a cosmic divine level. They are not even born out of um, a human womb. Let us look at who these 10 yoginis are. This is Sarvagya, Sarvashakti, सर्व ऐश्वर्य प्रदायिनी सर्व ज्ञानमयी सर्व व्याधि विनाशिनी सर्वधारा स्वरूपा सर्व पापहरा सर्व आनंदमयी सर्व रक्षा स्वरूपिणी सर्वेप्सित फल प्रदा. So all that you need for your complete well-being, you need gyan, you need shakti, you need aishwarya, you need something that keeps you away from all the vyadhi, from all the dangers. So, Mother protects this particular chakra, has yoginis, her own attendant Shaktis, her own forms, seated here to make sure that someone who has reached here, has awakened and gained Siddhi in all these uh, chakras and reached here, now has divine protection and is taken care of at every level. Now, moving further inside, we are at Sarva Rogahara Chakra. This is the seventh avarana. This is the Ashtar, the 8 triangles. So here again, this chakra is what destroys all the disease. Now, disease means what? Disease means some kind of disalignment in your energy. So once the energies are again back in alignment, everything is taken care of. There are 8 yoginis that are seated here. And this is a very, very close proximity to the inner realm again, and they are known as Rahasya Yoginis. Who are these Rahasya Yoginis? Vashini, Kameshwari, Modini, Vimle, Arune, Jayani, Sarveshwari, Kaulini. These are the 8 Vagadevatas, the Vagadevis who have written the Lalita Sahasranam on the divine command of Ma Lalita Tripur Sundari herself. So here these yoginis, they govern the Vak Shaktis. They govern the speech. And it is, see, now from the gross, you have absolutely come to a place where it is Rahasya. It is an absolute secret here. Moving further, we go to the Sarva Siddhi Prad Chakra, which is the innermost triangle. This is the Trikon. This doesn't overlap with any other triangle. Here we have 3 yoginis seated. This is the chakra that bestows all the accomplishments. Sarva Siddhi Prada. So now when you are bestowed with siddhis, we had siddhis that we encountered at the entry point. Remember? All the siddhi, the 10 siddhi devdas at the outermost square. Again, we are encountering the siddhi devis here. These are the yoginis that offer complete accomplishment. Now, when you go from top to bottom, it is the from the point of the bindu to the bhupur, it is creation. So when we create, again we are encountered by these siddhi shaktis which give and bestow accomplishments. And these are Ati Rahasya Yoginis. The 3 yoginis are known as the Ati Rahasya Yoginis. Who are they? Mahakameshwari, Mahavajreshwari, and Mahabhagmalini. So this is called the Kamakala triangle. We will look at it in detail when we come to the next session, where we will discuss about the practical aspects of Sri Vidya's Navavaran Puja and the worship aspect of the Sri Chakra. We will be discussing that in detail in the coming section. session when we will see in detail what this Kamakala triangle is. For now, let us know that this again governs the three aspects of material nature. This governs the sun, the moon, and the fire. This also governs the Jagrit, Sushupti, and Swapna avasthas. This also governs the Kamarup Peeth, the Jalandhar Peeth, and the Purnagiri Peeth. These are the Shakti Peethas of inner pilgrimage. The pilgrimage is to go on a journey from the Bhupur to meeting Divine Mother at the center, at the Bindu, which is the next Avarana. So at the Bindu, the ninth Avarana, this is called Sarva Anandamaya Chakra. This is the place where Divine Mother is. This is her bliss body. She is always in a state of absolute Anand. There is no English equivalent to the word Anand. We can call it bliss, we can call it Satchit Anand, but Anand here is something that can best be explained as a state of being in eternal bliss. Now, see, we can recall that all our desires are representative of the soul yearning to achieve permanent sense of happiness, permanent sense of peace and bliss. This is where Divine Mother is. So, as long as there is something to heal, something to work upon, something to give away, something to let go of, something to work upon, it is, like the mirror. The mirror is going to reflect our own self. Now, the reflection is not different from the self, but we are not able to see the reflection clearly so long as the mirror is mired by layers and layers and layers of dust. So, one by one, as we start working, we start working on our own selves. When we start doing the sadhana, when the energies start working upon us, they get awakened slowly, layer by layer. These layers of dust that is accumulated on the mirror starts getting cleaned up. Purification, inner purification starts happening. That is why Swamiji says, sadhana se shuddhi, shuddhi se siddhi. So sadhana leads to purification, and inner purification leads to attainment or accomplishment. What is it that we have to accomplish or attain? It is the yoga, it is the union with Divine Mother that is to be accomplished here. And here the Chakreshwari is Mahatripura Sundari herself. And here the yogini is Para Apara, Para Rahasya Yogini. She is Para, she is beyond, and she is Apara, she is beyond everything else. So it is to reach this point, which is beyond everything else. There is a lot of work which has to be done now again. Not to get overwhelmed, everything happens in the right time, in the right space, in the right speed. Nothing in this universe goes wrong. So energy alignments will happen as and when we do our sadhana. So I hope till here we have understood. There is quite a bit of
ओम
detail,
अणिमा
not to get
सिद्धाय
overwhelmed. Why? Because all of this is available with the locations, with the meanings of the Yogini Devis, with the meanings and the names appearing in the right locations with the right time of invocation of different chakras within the app. So just to have a short glimpse of what is there.
ओम अणिमा सिद्धाय नमः धूपम दीपम नैवेद्यम तांबूल पूंगी फलम समर्पयामि ओम लगिमा सिद्धाय नमः धूपम दीपम नैवेद्यम तांबूल पूंगी फलम समर्पयामि ओम महिमा सिद्धाय नमः धूपम दीपम नैवेद्यम तांबूल पूंगी फलम समर्पयामि ओम शित्व सिद्धाय नमः धूपम दीपम नैवेद्यम तांबूल पूंगी फलम समर्पयामि ओम शित्व सिद्धाय नमः धूपम दीपम नैवेद्यम तांबूल पूंगी फलम समर्पयामि.
So you see, all of these yoginis, they are captured, and the whole system of worship is available within the Tantra Sadhana app. And that is why I kept saying, don't get overwhelmed by the numbers and the names and the location. All of this is taken care of. What we have to do, we have to be present here with our love, devotion, and surrender for Divine Mother and start calling upon her. Now, this sadhana is what is going to awaken the most powerful yantra for us. Now, I will just tell you one more little story. There was this disciple who asked his guru once, why do we worship so many yoginis? Are they not all the same goddesses? Why can I just not call to one Sri Mata, Sri Mata, Sri Mata, and why cannot that be done? Of course, that can be done. But then the guru quietly lit up a lamp, and that lamp had many wicks. And he said, now tell me, how many flames do you see? So the disciple replied, many. The guru said, now look again very closely and see how many fires are burning. And then the disciple softly replied, only one. So, see here, that is the relationship of the yoginis with the Divine Mother. They are many in appearances, but they are all one in essence. So, while we are invoking the different functions that do different jobs in our world, we are only invoking Divine Mother. Let us keep that in mind and then approach this sadhana with that bhav, that emotion is what we have to keep in mind, that when we are calling upon her with her different names in different parts of the yantra and performing her panchopchar pujan by offering dhupam, deepam, naivedyam, ambulam, pungi phalam, we are just offering kumkum mixed with rice and putting this at different locations,
Om
offering it
Anima
with our
Siddhaye Namaha.
You're offering it with all our bhav. And when we do that, know for a fact that Divine Mother, in her various forms as different yoginis, companion energies, and supporting framework that is there, all the energy systems are nothing but Divine Mother who is accepting whatever you offer to her with your love and bhav. So, this sadhana has to be done with your bhav in it. For the next few days, those of you who have already crossed or are already there in the Matripur Sundari's realm in the Tantra Sadhana app, my request is that with this understanding that we have gained today, let us all perform this sadhana at least for 5 times in the week so that we are well versed. So, more and more we practice, the more and more uh, our awareness is going to get chiseled and the closer we will be to Divine Mother. And now let me just give you a little secret out. This is Yantra Raj, as we had seen, the king of the Yantras. So in this particular Yantra, all the Dasa Mahavidyas can also be invoked. All the forms of Lord Shiva can be invoked. All the forms of Vishnu and Lord Brahma can be invoked. All the Shaktis can be invoked. Whatever divine energies, whatever forms that you can think of that operate in this universe can be invoked in this very yantra. So that is why Swamiji has also said that once you have completed all the Dasa Mahavidyas, come back, please come back and practice your sadhana for the third realm at least 10 times so that we are very well versed and prepared to receive the higher sadhanas of Sri Vidya. So for that, I will request those who are already there, please continue to do your sadhana with this understanding that we have gained today. And those who have already crossed, please come back and at least 5 times in the week, not maybe not every day, but at least 5 times, let us come back and repeat this sadhana, because my words cannot explain, like how Shiva can never explain the glory even in 10 kalpas, how much this is going to work like magic in our lives, in the sense that we will feel the closeness to Divine Mother. And those who are not already in this realm, our request is that you first complete your sadhana in the first two realms of Ma Kali and Ma Tara, and then come back to be in this realm and practice what we have uh, with the wisdom that we have gained from these sessions. Now, if you want to look deeper into the other nuances of the Navavarana Puja and the Sri Chakra's geometry, you can look at these 4 books, the Nitya Shodashi Karnava and the Yogini Hridayam. These are part of the Vamakeshwara Tantra that we had seen in the beginning, where the dialogue between Ma Parvati and Lord Shiva occurs. And it is from this that the Khadgamala Stotram has also evolved for the system of worship and invocating the energies that are seated inside the Sri Chakra. And we will look at the practical aspects of the Sri Chakra Navavaran Puja worship in the next session. Because this is a lot of information, so we have to give it in parts. So just a quick quiz. Let us see how much of this we remember. So how many yoginis are there that are residing in the Bhupur? The Prakata yoginis. You can type. So here we have 28 yoginis. If we add the Chakreshwari along with that, it is 29. Okay, the next one. How many yoginis are there in the Chaturdashar? We can quickly type. Okay, so there are 14 yoginis that are seated in the Chaturdashar. So which path of yoga does the west gate of Bhupur signify? Very quickly, can we recall? We had seen this in the very beginning when we talked about the Amanayas and Adi Shankara setting up the mathas in 4 parts of the country. The western Amanaya is the Karma Yoga. Okay. So all of you, everyone here who has attended this session will receive a PDF on their emails, and it will contain all the topics that we have discussed in today's session. And I hope all of you have registered. So on your registered email ID, you will receive it. So if you are in Ma Tripur Sundari's world, then please perform this Sri Yantra Sadhana with the understanding that we have gained today. Now, if you are not in Ma Tripur Sundari's world, here's a quick guide on what you can do to prepare for the Sri Yantra Sadhana. First, you must complete the sadhana in Ma Kali's world. You will begin by a 11-day preparatory phase where you just need to spend 26 minutes every day, where you will be doing 108 times minimum japa of Ma Kali's Tantric Mool Mantra, which takes 16 minutes to do 108 counts, and 1 round of Ma Kali's Tantric fire offerings, the Yagya, which takes about 10 minutes. And when you complete 21 day, the 11-day preparatory phase, you have to then go on to do a 21-day Shavasadhana, which takes 16 minutes every day. And then moving forward from Ma Kali's world, you will come to Ma Tara's world, where again there is a preparatory phase of 11 days. It takes 18 minutes every day, 8 minutes to complete her japa, 1 round of japa of 108 counts of Ma Tara's Tantric Mantra, and 10 minutes to perform her yagya. And after you have finished the 11-day preparatory phase, then you have to complete 40 days of Shamashana Sadhana, which just takes 12 minutes. So if you every day you are able to give this little bit of time. Consistency here is the key. Just keep doing, keep going, keep going, keep going. And like how Swamiji says, Japet Siddhi, Japet Siddhi, Japet Siddhi. You will then reach the realm of Matripur Sundari and you can practice the Sri Chakra Navavarana Puja there. A little sneak peek into the Shava Sadhana and Shamshan Sadhana in the Tantra Sadhana app. So if you have not started, please download the Tantra Sadhana app from the QR code that is given and please begin on this beautiful journey. If there are any questions, maybe we can take them up.
Jai Shri Mansi, thank you so much for this session. I think we are on just a few minutes after the time as well. So having said that, some questions have come. So I will ask you very quickly. But for me, as a sadhak listening to this session, Mansi, if I understand right, the Sri Yantra is the Yantra Raj. There are 183 deities sitting in different Avaranas. And if I learn more about this knowledge, where I understand the 9 Avaranas, I understand how many yoginis who are seated where, it will help me to connect better with devotion when I actually do the practice. So
Absolutely.
This is the knowledge part of it, and we are yet to look at the practice part of it as guided by Sri Om Swamiji in the Tantra Sadhana app. So those of you who are not already in the third world, as Mansi ji said, please note the entire practice is already given. So we are having these sessions to help us get the understanding, and that should help us, better our practice. So in that context, Mansi ji, you said that we will also be having one more session where the focus is fully on the practice itself, where we understand better how the practice is done.
Because apart from these yoginis, there are other energies like the Shadanga Devatas and the gurus, and the 3 kinds of gurus who are also invoked, and a little bit of more detailed understanding of how the offerings is made. So one more session, the concluding session of this series, will happen to deep dive into those aspects.
Got it. And probably that session we will look at taking more questions as well. So quick couple of questions before we end today's session. Is it necessary to be initiated to worship Sri Yantra?
No, it is not at all necessary to be initiated. As we had seen in the beginning of the session when we were talking about the 4 gates through which we can enter into the realm of the Sri Chakra. Anybody, any sadhak can enter from any of the 4 gates to invoke Divine Mother and seek union with Ma Lalita Tripur Sundari. There is no need for a formal initiation, a physical initiation, but yes, what the app is going to enable is the app is going to facilitate a process of self-initiation, which is guided by Sri Om Swamiji in his voice, because we always need a master who has walked the path and who knows what are the hurdles that are going to come and how the path is to be tread. So in his guidance, a process of self-initiation is set up within the app, which means that once you go through the process, you invoke your own inner guru, you invoke those energies which will guide you on the path, and this will all happen in the guidance of Sri Om Swamiji's voice within the app. So we don't have to worry about whether I really need to be initiated. No, you don't need any special external initiation to practice this sadhana within the Tantra Sadhana app.
Great. I think that goes hand in hand with the next question, which is, can we activate the chakra ourselves, or do we need the aid and help of an acharya or pandit?
you can activate it yourself. That is the most beautiful part of it. Because see, the Acharya or the Pandit is going to do things on your behalf. No other person can have the bhav that you yourself have. You They can only depute on your behalf. Sadhanas are to be done ourselves. And for that, the entire process with the mantra, with the Khadgamala Stotram that we just talked about, is facilitated within the app. The app is going to act as your enabler and is going to help you do the sadhana without the need for any pandit or any acharya. So
Awesome.
you yourself can invoke all these energies within the app.
Understood. And if one were to practice, like, how do we know, like, what time we should be spending? Is it months? Is it years? What should be the focus? Should we focus on some duration, or should we focus just on doing it as much as we can?
See, there are many kinds of seekers, as Swamiji says. There, how we have musicians. There are kinds of musicians who will just practice one raga and keep perfecting it all their lives. And there are also the other kind of musicians who perform many different kinds of harmonies, many different kinds of melodies. And, so it is up an individual choice whether we want to go deep or whether we want to broaden our practice. Having said that, to do it for one cycle in a day, it takes roughly some 21 minutes within the app. That's all that you have to devote with focus and with devotion. And don't worry about how much time it will take. It can take years, it can take lifetimes. But once you begin on this journey, what is guaranteed is the union with Divine Mother. Somewhere, in some time, at some place, we will be able to achieve that perfection where, when Tantra is saying that I can become the one I pray to. So when we see the triangle at the innermost Avarana, just around the Bindu, what does this triangle also signify? It signifies the sadhana, the sadhak, and the sadhya, all becoming same, all becoming one at the Bindu. So you realizing your own true self as the one you pray to, that is the whole idea. So instead of trying to focus how much time it is going to take, let us just focus on the process. Let us just give it our all, and it will happen in its own time.
Right. Thank you so much, Mansi ji. I think there are a few more questions coming in. And in case some of you have questions which are unanswered, please feel free to write to us at saru@tantrasadhana.app. We will mention it in the chat. Please write to us and we will respond back. Having said that, some of you are asking about buying Sri Yantra outside. Should you learn to draw on your own, etc. So first thing, what you could potentially do is, in the PDF that we'll be sharing, we will be giving you a high resolution image of the Sri Chakra, which you can use to print if you so choose. And secondly, the practice is there in the app. Instead of trying to perform it outside on your own on a printed paper, which you can very well do so, but consider doing the practice in the app, because Om Swamiji guides us in his voice step by step, so that the focus that we need to have is only on the bhav and on the step that we're invoking. So as you go through the 183 steps that are there, you will see every of the deity name being called out specifically by Swamiji, and all one needs to do is to think of that yogini in the form of Ma and offer our pranams. So I think Mansi ji, thank you so much for taking the time not only to perform this session. This is to even prepare for this session to everybody who's seeing. It took us few tens of hours to sit and discuss and curate this and prepare the flow and whatnot. So and I can say very simply put that there is the story that Swamiji says that there was this huge machine and it had an issue, very, very costly machine, and no mechanic could easily fix it. and until they chance upon the so-called world's expert who is called upon to fix this machine. And when he comes, he just takes 1 minute to fix a particular screw, and then the machine starts working. And when asked the bill, he says, $10,000 is the bill. And they ask, you hardly work for 1 minute. How can you charge $10,000 for it? And to which he said, it's my 30, 40 years of experience that allowed me to solve this problem in 1 minute. So in a similar way, I think it's the number of years that Mansi ji has been learning, and Swamiji has been guiding us, and Mansi ji has been learning from Swamiji and the books and whatnot, that allowed to make this session happen. So deep gratitude to Mansi ji, and of course our reverence and gratitude to Swamiji for really making all of this become a part of our daily lives. I, as a sadhak, can easily relate that there was no way that I would have even encountered this, let alone know about it, learn about it, or be able to perform this practice. We are living in amazing times where, in all this craziness of the world that is there, we have this beacon of light where we can simply, all one needs to do is to follow the path as led by the master. Thank you very much, everybody, for joining. We know we took a little bit extra time. It was a slightly lengthy and packed session. We hope you learned deeper, and we will have a practice session coming along after we prepare in a couple of weeks. Until then, please do go forward in the Tantra Sadhana app. And for all those of you who are new, because you've been asking, in November, we'll be focusing on Mahakali Sadhana to perform as a community. So we will be having sessions where we'll walk you through how to go through the preparatory steps, how to go through Shav Sadhana. Mansi ji will be back with a power-packed session on Shav Sadhana, where all the intricacies will be revealed of how, just like what we learned here for Sri Yantra, we will be learning about Shav Sadhana and its esoteric details, so that again, when we perform the practice, we can deepen our devotion and take more value from Swamiji's guidance. Thank you very much, everybody. Have a great Sunday ahead, and we will see you when we will see you. Jai Shri Hari.
All glories to Swamiji for making this available to all of us. And I will just do a quick closing chant because we had
Please.
invoked Divine Mother. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Hari Om Tat Sat. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you again.